We're back on the Silver and Blue Huddle, episode number 12. Episode 12, baby. We're back.
The Miami edition.
The Miami edition, man. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Dallas Cowboys. Christmas Eve. Almost borderline ruined Christmas for me by losing to the Miami Dolphins in Miami. I'm so glad I didn't go to that game because I was planning on going to that game, but because it was on Christmas Eve, it's going to be kind of hard for me to travel back and forth. I mean, it's only about 3 to 4 hours, but I really wanted to go, but I'm so happy that I didn't because I would be disappointed and mad driving all the way back from Miami to Orlando, a 4-hour drive, being upset that my Dallas Cowboys gave away a game to the Miami Dolphins, who just out there kicking field goals. They're not even scoring TDs. They're kicking field goals, okay? And the Dallas Cowboys blew it, and I'm upset. I'm upset. But we here. So amazing. Expert Corner, Silver and Blue Huddle, we back. The most anticipated episode because now we lost 2 in a row. So I know you guys are ready to hear what we're going to talk about, right? But we kind of set the tone last week when we said that we was going to give the Cowboys the smoke that they deserve. So they lost. They went out and got beat, and they played terrible. So we're going to give them the smoke, and we're going to talk trash about them, just like we said we was going to do. So the tone has already been set. So my very first initial reaction to this game is disappointment, sad. I don't know why we can't win on the road. I don't know why we can't play good against other good teams. I don't know why we can't just get on the road and play nasty, dominate from the beginning. We had a good first drive, and then what did we do at the 1? We fumbled the ball away. That set the tone. I sent out the tweet and said, hey, the Dallas Cowboys made a long drive just to get to the 1 and fumble the ball away. It is about to be a long day. And I'll be damned if it wasn't a long day, okay? So that's my very first initial reaction to the game, man. And I just don't know what to say about the Dallas Cowboys and them guys on the road, man. Like, we got to get it together. Pull it together, Dallas Cowboys. What about you, Ed? What's your first impression?
Yeah, I think just like you said, you have an opportunity to set the tone early, right? Tony Pollard has to score on the option play, right? He's either got to run to the pylon, which if you go back and look at it, it's wide open. If he just runs to the pylon, he has the angle to stretch this ball across the goal line. It's an easy touchdown. I got why he's trying to cut back. He felt he had the block, but you have to put your helmet down and you have to run that guy over to get in the end zone. This is not where you finesse. You're not in the open field trying to make a move. This is the goal line, right? Then we compound that with a horrible play call on second down where you got a 200-plus pound quarterback.
Right.
Put your quarterback in, QB sneak this thing, get it in the end zone. Let's go up 7-0, be done with it. That was the momentum breaker right from the get-go. But I think my other big thing about this game was 2 things really is the penalties in this game that were called and the penalties that I'm still not seeing called. Damone Clark is clearly held at the end of the game. He basically gets tackled. It's a no call. Micah Parsons getting held the entire game. There's no calls. 36 quarters in a row, this man has not had a holding call on him. Like, I know Micah Parsons is good, but there's no way he's not being held at least once a game, right? And there are pictures to prove he's being held in this Miami game. Multiple plays. It's ridiculous. The other thing, Tyron Smith. Your best ability is availability in the NFL. And Tyron Smith not playing and Chumo having to play, Chuma, whatever his name is. How many times he blocked down and just let Bradley Chubb with a free rush to the quarterback? Dak Prescott is a great quarterback. I want to put him in the elite status. I really do. I really want to put him in an elite status, but I think there's still some things he has to do to be elite for me. But he's a good quarterback. No quarterback is good enough when you got Bradley Chubb free to the quarterback where he's running for his life.
Sometimes 2 of them was running free on the edge.
It's just ridiculous. We block down. We don't take that. We have figured out, and listen, the 3 of us have seen this. This is not like something new, right? Tyron Smith doesn't play. We put somebody at left tackle that shouldn't be at left tackle. He plays horrible, and Dak runs for his life. We saw it in the Atlanta game a couple years ago where Dak played the entire game with somebody in the backfield like they were in the huddle with us. We got to do something to fix the left tackle spot. You got Tyler Smith at left guard. He's playing well. You got Biadasz at center. playing well. Zach Martin, arguably one of the best guards in the entire NFL. Terrence Steele playing well at right tackle. I mean, you got a good offensive line, but that just proves that one piece. You got to find a way to help the guy, chip him, put the running back on that side. I don't care what you do, but you let the man out there to dry. He just hung himself the entire game, and it just ruined so many drives. So I think there's some decision making that has to happen. One, and Rich and I talked about this in length while we were sitting in here waiting for the podcast. Tony Pollard cannot be your feature running back next year.
No.
I know a lot of you Cowboy fans, and we asked you to come to the front for Dak Prescott to apologize to Dak Prescott. I need those Cowboy fans that was like, get rid of Zeke. Tony P got to be the number one guy. Give him 20 carries. Watch what he can do. Zeke is washed. How many of you would take Zeke Elliott right now running in that backfield as your number one back and Tony P being a changer back? I know I would take him in a heartbeat. Give me Ezekiel Elliott back with his antics, everything that he did, his big, huge hair. I don't care. I would take Zeke because I knew he was going to give me effort. So there's going to be some big decisions. Those are the big things. Penalties that are called and are not called. Listen, the roughing the passer against Dak is not roughing the passer. I'm just going to say it. That's not roughing the passer. Just like the Micah Parsons roughing the passer was not roughing the passer. It was blatantly not roughing the passer. He's right there when he throws the ball. So the penalties and then just the poor play from some key people and then the fumble at the one get just killed us. I knew as soon as he fumbled. I know you tweeted it, Rich, but I was like, here we go again. You got to be freaking kidding me, man.
Absolutely. Here we go. No,
I don't know what it is about this road team. I don't know what it is about the road team. It's like when they get on the plane, they leave their skills in Dallas when they get on that plane to leave and then pick them up like their baggage didn't go with them. I don't understand it. Luckily, they get a home game this week and we get a blowout. I feel sorry for the Lions, but you got to find a way to win on the road because guess what? Your first playoff game will be on the road.
100%.
Yes, exactly.
So,
and you know what, man? Like, I saw the game and cheers for you guys. That's just real quick for the holidays and to everybody watching. But I was watching the game. We were very blessed watching football on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. But when I watched my Dallas Cowboys in Miami, man, look, the stats look crazy because you look at it and you're like, wait a minute, how'd the Cowboys lose, right? Because you're looking at it, yeah, we got, they got some sacks on Dak, and then our defense got got a lot of tackles, and it was a close game. We fought back. But it goes back to those little things, like you said, expert, right? It's the effort, man. It's not we don't have the skills. We don't have the players. Like, we have the players on our team. We have the players on our defense. Yeah, we might lack a little bit of linebacker right now, and we're trying to figure that out defensively going into playoffs. But what I want to start seeing now is just effort. It's that little bit that's just like, okay, you're getting the tackles, you get a couple TFLs. Oh, you make a play real quick. Oh, Gilmore got burnt once. You're like, oh, okay, Waddle got him. Like, I'm watching the game, and I need to get a little feedback from you guys on this one. When you were watching the game, weren't there moments of that game where you were just like, okay, we got it. Then you're like, what happened? Oh, we got it. Oh, what happened? And then like when we finally do score with Brandon Cooks, I wasn't even excited. Like, it was like he scored and I was like, finally. Like, it was one of those moments where I'm like, we got to pick it up. And the back to what you were saying about the Zeke thing was, yeah, we try to give it to the fullback. We fumble at the goal line, blah, blah, blah. But that having Zeke come in for short yardage or fighting for those hard yards or even a power back, because I know everybody's probably going to say, oh, Mike, look at you crying for Zeke now. No, I'm not crying for Zeke. We need a power back. We need somebody that's going to get the dirty yards. We know that Pollard can bust off a big one. We know Pollard can make a big play, spin off a tackle and go. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the hard, nasty yards where you got to lower your shoulder, roll off somebody, fall forward, and all that. And Pollard just doesn't do that for us. So our offense is like in fancy mode. Our defense is trying to not make a big play happen because you got Tariq Hill, you got Waddle, you got all these guys all over the place, and they're trying not to make anything go deep. They're just trying to keep everything in front of them. They're trying to make tackles. And it came down to the end where it's like, they're running the ball. Right? I mean, that's the part. Yeah, I know you guys want me to talk defense. That was the part that I'm like, all right, we got to get this ball back. They running it. And watching them get the first down and then watching the clock just tick, I had no words after that. So I just want to see more effort with the players on execution. Not that they're not playing to win, it's execution. I want to see them execute. There was a game yesterday. I'm not even we're a Cowboys thing, but there was a game yesterday that you guys saw at night with that bad man Lamar, and I saw two teams fighting. And that's that same fight I want to see from the Cowboys going into these last two games, so we're ready for the playoffs. Because if we go into the playoffs playing like we are on these two away games, we will lose. We will lose because there is no effort. There's no execution. So right. I know I sound more angry than anything right now, but it's the truth. I didn't enjoy the game. I watched it and I didn't enjoy it.
Right. And just to talk about the offense real quick, I mean, Dak Prescott went, he was 20 for 32 for 253 and 2 TDs. Obviously, he had that late touchdown at the end of the game. Tony Pollard, disappointing performance by him, 12 for 38, man. The longest that he had was like 7 yards, man. That's ridiculous. Dak Prescott was rushing. He had 5 for 25, and his longest rush was like 22, man. CeeDee Lamb, 6 for 118 on 10 targets. That was good. This was a game where CeeDee Lamb should have probably had about at least 20 targets and probably at least maybe about 18, 19 receptions. Like, he was featured in the first quarter, and he was like just cooking the Miami defense, man. They was okay with like letting CD run free in the freaking secondary, man, and get his yards. So I don't know why Mike McCarthy went away from that, man. Jalen Tolbert with 2 for 51, 2 targets. Ferguson 4 for 45, and Michael Gallup had 2 for 4 on 2 targets. Man, just stop throwing to Michael Gallup.
I mean, Dak did target players. If you look at the stats, he targeted CeeDee Lamb like 11, 10 times. Yeah. Like, he was targeting players, but I get what you're saying with the whole CeeDee Lamb should have kind of been fed a little bit more.
I mean, if you look at it, he torches that Miami secondary in the first quarter.
Right.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb was all over the place, whether it was in the backfield, getting a reverse, whether it's catching the football. It didn't make any difference. He's all over the place, right?
He was open.
You don't see him in the second and third quarter at all. It's like they go away from him. And I get it. They got other weapons. Brandon Cooks played well. Tolbert, you got Ferg. I get all of that. But 88 is your guy. You don't think the Dolphins were throwing at Tyreek Hill the whole game? Even when they're not completing passes, they go into their guy. Yeah. That's what I don't get about this Cowboy team. Like, great. I love Brandon Cooks. Great when he catches the touchdown. Great catch by Brandon Cooks in the fourth quarter. Catches the ball on Jalen Ramsey. Just great catch. He's a veteran. That's what he does, right? But feed 88 the ball. Listen, Troy Aikman did it. If he needed to play, he was going to 2 people. He was throwing to 84 Jay Novacek, or he was throwing to the playmaker. And he didn't care if he was double teamed. If Troy Aikman saw 1-on-1 with Michael Irvin, that ball was coming out and it was going to 88. Tony Romo, if you single covered Des Bryant, that ball was going to Des Bryant. I don't care who's over there. I'm just throwing it up. Go make a play.
Right.
CeeDee Lamb is that type of dude, and we went away from him. Then we got to stop. We have this wide receiver core has potential to be great with Jalen Tolbert, who's done so well. Brandon Cooks, Ferg, CeeDee Lamb. Where is Michael Gallup been? He's non-existent in this offense. It's the play. Listen, we've given Mike McCarthy a lot of credit this year. He's done some amazing things, getting Dak looking really well. But this game right here, you're killing this secondary, and you're turning around and handing it off to a guy that's got no effort. I would rather see us take shots at CeeDee Lamb and, find out what secondaries are going to do, because at some point CeeDee Lamb was torching him so bad. They're doubling him. They're but they're moving him around. He's in the slot. He's going in motion. He's on the outs. Just do that all 4 quarters. Right. You did it in the first. You did it in the fourth. He was successful, but you went away from it in the middle, and you didn't score any touchdowns in the second or third quarter because of it. Right. It's just frustrating.
You did mention 88, so I just wanted to shout out. We're talking about Mr. 88. So
The originator.
I'm just saying.
I mean, it's the same thing. Staubach would just chunk the ball up to Drew Pearson.
Invoke Mr. 88.
Drew Pearson was a burner. People don't realize this. Drew Pearson was one of the fastest players in the NFL. Like, they would just chunk the ball up and let Drew Pearson go get it. We need to do the same thing with CeeDee Lamb. He's that type of dude, even in coverage. Like, I trust CeeDee Lamb to go get the football. It's just frustrating when you see this offense and what they're capable of doing and then what we don't do throughout the entire game.
And one last thing about the offense, man. One of the bad things that I did see from Dak Prescott was him holding on to the ball way too long. There was plenty of times when he was just like maybe pump faking. I'm like, Dak, let it go, bro. Like, why are you holding on to the ball? There was many drives where Dak Prescott would take off in prior games. And he barely took off this game. Like, either like hold on to the ball, like fake punt, like fake throwing, and like, bro, take off. Like, why are you patting the ball? You patting the ball way too much. So that was a disappointing thing to see from Dak Prescott, man. Like, because we haven't seen that over the last few games coming from him. Like, he wasn't patting the ball. He wasn't just holding on to it. He was taking off or he was passing the ball. Like, he was doing too much patting, man. Like, I don't know what he was second guessing himself or what, but bro, take off, man. Take off. All right, let's move to the defense, man. What you got so amazing?
I mean, like I said, like briefly with the defense, my initial reaction is that, did we make tackles? Yeah, we did. Did Donovan Wilson come up and make his 8 solos? Yeah. Marquise Bell, 6 solos. Damone Clark, 5 solos. Micah Parsons, 2 solos, a half a sack, and a TFL. I mean, we made tackles. No interceptions. We didn't get no really good turnovers that we really, really needed. Like, I mean, I know Tua fumbled, but I mean, it's like nothing that that really jumps off the page. I mean, again, Micah was that middle linebacker. Okay. He was there kind of helping support. They moved him around this time. I think they will listen to the podcast. So they moved him, but it's just, I don't know, man. I feel like they were too scared in letting, Hill destroy them. They played like this kind of like bend but don't break. And then, when Gilly got burnt that one time, and then he was like, "Oh, let me stay back now. Let me make sure I tackle everything in front of me." Like, I didn't see anything to where I was like jumping off my seat.
Yeah. And I kind of feel bad for the defense because this wasn't a game that we blamed them for the loss, right? So when you look at the game, you see DeMarcus Lawrence over there hyped up. You see Michael Parsons over there hyped up. They really wanted to win this game. Like, I know they had kind of like a bad first half, but in the second half, you saw that emotion from those guys, man. They really was on the sideline cheering for the offense, hoping that the offense did things. And the offense kind of let them down. Dak Prescott in the offense and Mike McCarthy, they let the defense down. And I know the defense still had opportunity to close out the game in that last drive. But that's not a situation that you want to put your defense in. I mean, we've seen it time and time. The other defense comes up big and they kind of get that stop. But I felt bad for the defense a little bit. Like I said, they had the effort, they had the emotion, they had the nasty to go out there and get those stops. I mean, they held the top offense to 1 touchdown and 5 field goals. I mean, if you tell me that Miami had to kick 5 field goals, you would say, "Oh, Miami got blown out," right? No, that wasn't even the case. Miami still won the game.
It wasn't like
5
Tyreek Hill balled out. Yeah,
No,
it wasn't like Tyreek Hill balled out or nothing and had this awesome game against us. It was just it really came down to that fourth quarter where it was time and possession.
Right.
We had to score. We scored, and then it was a situation where it's okay, we got to turn the ball over.
Right.
We had to. If we didn't turn that ball over, we needed to get that ball back, and we didn't. And then they kicked the field goal and won the game.
Very unfortunate, man.
Again, the NFL it's the little things that loses you football games, right?
Yeah.
You look back at this game and you look at this defense. This defense holds one of the highest, most potent offenses to nothing but 5 field goals and 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
9 points in the second half. They had 13 in the first half. I mean, that's winning football, right? You hold a team to 22 points. Granted, you'd love to hold them under 20, but this is a high-powered offense. They have 2 of the fastest guys in the NFL at wide receiver. We don't have that kind of speed in the secondary. But when you look at this offense for the Cowboys, this is supposed to be a high-powered offense, right? 22 points, you should be licking your chops with this offense. We're going to put up at least 3 touchdowns, right? They scored 7 points in the first half and then come back and score 13 points in the second half. You cannot have a half of football where you only put points up one time. That fumble at the beginning of the game was the little bitty mistakes that lost this football game. You punch that ball in, it's a different football game. You have 14 points in the first half. You score 10 in the second half. It's a 27-22 ball game. You win this ball game.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
It's why are we handing it to the rookie at the 1 yard line when you have a quarterback that can sneak it? You got Rico Dowdle, you got Tony Pollard. It's the little things. And then like So Amazing said, when they got the ball, after Brandon Cooks catches a touchdown, I'm like So Amazing, right? I'm sitting on my couch. I'm like, okay, that's great. But there's a minute 30 left in this game, and they got 3 timeouts.
Exactly.
Listen, they want to run the clock out. You have to come up, drop your nuts, and stop this run game. Again, just like So Amazing said, it's the scared tactic for me for the Cowboys of we're in this bubble and we don't want the bubble to burst. So we're going to be real gentle, right? We're going to be gentle. We're going to back up. These guys got speed. And if they run past us, the game is over. You have to put some pressure on teams. If you drop back 10 yards, Tyreek Hill is just going over the middle and catching a 12-yard route. That's when he's the most dangerous.
When we didn't play man. We didn't do one-man blitz. Not one-man blitz.
You can't afford. You have to put some pressure on a team that's trying to go down and kick a field goal. I could see if they needed a touchdown. If they needed a touchdown to win the game, it's different. I'm going to play a little bit different. But they only need 3, which means I need a stop, and I need it right now. So it's the little things that's frustrating as a Cowboy fan, because you see the potential of this football team, and it's like they get to that potential point, right? And we see a glimpse of going over that hill for us, and then the next thing you know, we fumble the football. Dak Prescott's holding on to the football. He's taking sacks when he shouldn't take sacks. We're throwing the ball to Peyton Hendershot on 3rd down and 7, and he's jumping in. Just the little things for me, that those little things start to stack up. Now, when you're playing the Giants, those little things don't matter as much, right? When you're playing the Commanders, little things don't matter, right? But when you're playing the Dolphins, the Bills, the 49ers, the Eagles, those little things are the differences between winning a game and losing. Versus the Giants, those little things are difference between you beating them by 30 points and you beating them by 10 points. There is the difference. No disrespect to the Giants. They've had some horrible injuries on that football team. They've gone through so many quarterbacks. They're struggling, right? The same thing with the Commanders. That culture there is horrible. But in Dallas, if we have aspirations to hold the Lombardi at the end of the year, we got to stop the little mistakes. You have to play perfect football going into the playoffs. Not even in the playoffs, right? So Amazing. Like, you got to start playing perfect football now to get that momentum. So when you get into the playoffs, it's second nature. And I don't think it's second nature right there now with this team. And I don't know what it's going to take to get that.
You're talking about the little mistakes. It's the little mistakes.
The intangibles.
The intangibles.
Like you like to say. The intangibles.
Yeah, it's the little things for me. And that's the difference from being a Super Bowl contender and being a team that makes it to the playoffs every year. Which do we want to be? What do we want to be as Cowboys? Do we want to be playoff football team, or do we want to be a team that teams step back and go, okay, they truly are contenders for the Super Bowl?
The team that wins the Super Bowl will be a team that can execute when it needs to. I mean, that's just football.
Right. Well, I mean, the good thing about the NFL is that there's always next week. So we're moving on to week 17. The Dallas Cowboys face the Detroit Lions at home on Saturday night, man. Right now, the Dallas Cowboys are favored by 6, which should be a good thing. I mean, going back home where we have won 15 straight, where we are supposedly a whole different team that can like get our act together, where we can score, we can play defense again. We don't have that many penalties. So Saturday night should be a good game. I mean, I would definitely love another victory. I mean, especially over the Detroit Lions. I mean, Detroit has come out of nowhere. I mean, I think we played them last year at home, and I think we escaped that. So I don't want another close game with the Detroit Lions at home. I hope this time we just come out and just dominate and just blow them out, man. I want like another 40 burger, and we get our act together and then get ready for the freaking Commanders in Week 18. But back at home, what do you guys think? Let's preview the Lions and the Cowboys. What do y'all think?
I mean, I like the matchup. Lions are tough. This is the perfect test for the Cowboys coming off those 2 losses, just because they need to have that tough matchup. And it's not that the Bills weren't and the Dolphins weren't. It's not that. This goes back to character, right? We're talking about effort, execution. You make a mistake. How do you battle back from it, right? That's what the Lions are. The Lions are tough. Lions are a mental tough team, and it starts from their coach. Their coach instills a certain level of toughness in that team, and that's why they're another scary team in the NFC playoffs as well, because they're a type of team where you play them in the playoffs, you look at who's on their roster, and you're like, oh, we got them. We got matchups. We're going to beat them. But the difference between the Lions and the rest of the other teams in the playoffs for NFC is that they're going to fight till the fourth quarter. They're going to fight all 4 quarters until there's 0 seconds on that clock. So I think it's going to be a dogfight. I think the Lions take the lead on us. I honestly believe, I think the Lions take the lead. Not like, no, it's a substantial lead. I think they go up like 10-3, and then we're getting close to halftime, and it's going to be one of those situations where like everybody's looking at each other on the sideline like, it is 10-3 at half, and we only have 3 points. Let's wake the fuck up. Like, that's like, sorry like that, but like, it's the truth. Like, that's what I feel is going to happen. That's my prediction. My prediction is that it's going to be a dogfight game. Lions are going to probably win the first half, and then we're going to have to dogfight to the fourth quarter, and we're going to win this game 24-21.
I like it.
I mean, here's the thing. What do the Lions do really well? They run the football. They are a running football team. They have 2 premier backs. I mean, if you look, Gibbs, Montgomery, both of those guys are 1,000-yard backs, potential 1,000-yard backs every single year. They are very good. And then you have a quarterback in Jared Goff that doesn't really turn the ball over, makes smart decisions. He checks it down. He does the right thing. He doesn't take a lot of sacks. This is a tough line. This is not the same Lions team from the past 5 years, right? Mm-hmm. This is a tough matchup, right? And they're coming into Dallas off a huge win that wins the division. First time in 30 years they win the division. They're on a high. You think they was running through brick walls for their head coach Dan Campbell before? They fixed to come to Dallas because they look at this as this is the start of their playoffs. And they're going to play like that. And exactly what So Amazing says, you can't afford to go into a halftime or to play the first half and be down 10-3 to this team, because this Lions team gets in the locker room at halftime and they're winning. They don't come out the second half the same way. Dan Campbell has their team putting foots on necks. That is what that head coach does.
Right.
And so this is one of those matchups where the Dallas Cowboys have to come out from the opening kickoff and punch the Detroit Lions square in their face. And every time the Lions think they're about to get back up off the mat, you punch them in their face again and again and again. Isn't that what DeMarcus Lawrence said? Again and again and again, right?
Yep.
That's what I need the Dallas Cowboys to do. Now, the problem is that once they do that, then everybody's going to be like, oh, the Cowboys, they do this at home. This is what they do. What do they do on the road, though? We'll be listening to that narrative all week till they go on the road to play the Commanders.
They stepped up at home, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Correct. But if you don't come out and play a good game, mistake-free, versus this Lions team where that defense flies around the football and they go and intercept everything that's in the air, this secondary is nasty. And you can't afford to just have a bad game right now in Week 17 at home versus the Lions. Now, So Amazing said 24-21. I think this is a 31-10 game here, right? I think they get into this, they get back into Dallas, and this team finds a way to rally, right? They know they should have won that Dolphins game. There's no doubt about it. They go back home and they say, we shouldn't have lost that game. That game was ours, right? That's not a game we lose. The fumble, the bad play from the left tackle, the horrible play calling from Mike McCarthy, that's not who we are. We still should have won that game. Now's the chance to make a statement versus a playoff team, a division winner in Detroit coming into your house, week 17 going to the playoffs. A team you may see in the playoffs where you would nothing better than to knock them down a couple notches and remind them that they're the Detroit Lions and we are America's team. That's what I want to see. 31-10 Cowboys with a big win this week over the Lions.
And I like it. And I think we're going to get a lot of home cooking. I think the referees are going to be put on notice to where we actually see some Michael Parson holding calls. That's going to put Detroit in long field positions. And everybody knows once you put Jared Goff into like a long lauded situation, either two things are going to happen. Like he's not going to convert or it's going to be a turnover. So I think we could definitely see defensive getting like 1 or 2 interceptions on that, maybe even a pick 6. Like I said, I think the defense is definitely going to wake up. I think we're going to keep Jared Goff in that offense in long yard situations where he's not able to really get anything going. I mean, they definitely going to come out and try to test the run for sure in the first quarter with David Montgomery. And let me just tell you, Dallas, if Detroit is in the red zone, all they going to do is run the ball with David Montgomery, bro. Like, they're not passing. They're not doing no jet sweep. They're strictly handing it off to David Montgomery all 4 times. So please be prepared for that. Don't fall for the little okie dokie where you think Jared Goff is going to freaking like throw the ball in the red zone. He's not. All right. He may do a little play action. You know what a play action is going to? Sam Laporta. You better cover that tight end. Like,
yeah,
he's having a good year. He's a rookie, right? He's a rookie, I think. Yeah. He's having a good year. So it's only going to David Montgomery or Sam Laporta who he's going to check down to. So please cover those people, please.
I'll be honest. I mean, that's the guy that gets me nervous is the Laporta guy. When they get in the end zone, who's going to guard him? You know, is it Malik Hooker? Is Kurtz going to take that assignment? It's just Donovan Wilson. Like, who's going to take that assignment?
Yep. And I think we get back to scoring out 30 to 40 points a game, and I think the Cowboys are going to probably go 37-21 over the Detroit Cubs. That's my prediction.
Points
for that. We playing at home, right? 15-game winning streak, right? Like that's what we do, right? We play good at home, right? So
score points.
That's what we do. We dominate at home. So we back at home. So I don't want no excuses. I ain't gonna want to come up here next week and be like, "Oh, Dallas Cowboys had a stinker at home." No. We dominate because that's what you guys got me used to seeing when you go back to Dallas. So that's what I want to see, Dallas Cowboys. All right, one last thing before we close it out, man, real quick. I mean, I know we talked about the playoff watch last week. Nothing really changed other than maybe the Dallas Cowboys going from the number 2 down to number 5. So right now we'll be facing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think everybody remembers what happened last year when we went to Tampa and played the Buccaneers. I mean, it is on the road, and I think we kind of had road trouble last year as well. So it's not really too much of a difference. I mean, now they have Baker Mayfield instead of Tom Brady, so that could be a difference maker. I think Baker is a turnover prone when he get pressure in his face. So I'm not really scared of the Buccaneers at all. But real quick, what do y'all think about that matchup?
I mean, I would much rather it be the Falcons or the Saints.
Right.
I mean, the Bucs is the one team in the NFC South I don't want to play because he's actually playing well right now. Yeah. That's the best quarterback in NFC South. Coming off of, a season where nobody thought he was going to be anything. He gets to Tampa Bay. He's got Tampa Bay in the divisional lead. Not a team we want to go see right now. They're the hottest team in NFC South. I would much rather it be the Falcons or the Saints. But again, you are going to have to find a way to win on the road now. You have put yourself now we have to be Cardinal fans and we have to be Giants fans in hopes that the Eagles lose one of these 2 remaining games, which they didn't look good versus the Giants.
Right.
Like, let's just be honest. They don't look good
down to
either.
The last play.
I mean, the Eagles fan base is at the same position we're at as Cowboys.
Yes.
We are not happy with the way our team is performing right now. So does that mean that the Cowboys can't get back to 2? They might. I would love them to be at 2, get a couple home playoff games before we got to go on the road, maybe to the NFC Championship and play the 49ers, or maybe somebody knocks the 49ers out and we get a home NFC Championship game. That would be the ideal situation. But at the end of the day, for me, I just want to see us play well no matter where we're at. I don't care if we're in Tampa, if we're in Atlanta, if we're in New Orleans, if we're in Philly. It doesn't make any difference. I just want us to play well no matter where we're at and not just be a home team because you got to play half of your games on the road as well.
Right. What about you, Joe Amazing, real quick?
I mean, give me the 5th seed, and I guess I'm looking forward to the Bucs because a miracle could happen with the Eagles. I mean, losing to the Giants, but I'm already got the mindset where they're gonna wind up playing somebody from that NFC South. They're gonna go on the road. It looks like the Buccaneers is kind of getting a little hot right now at the moment. They got like an 85% chance of winning that spot. So, I mean, statistically, that's my mindset. I'm looking to see if Richblkman's going to get tickets to that game. You know?
Oh, I am. That's why I selfishly want the Cowboys to be in the number 5 spot so I can go to that game once again. So, but I want them to win.
That's all.
Like Esper said, no matter where they land, they have to win on the road. Where not it's in Tampa and then they go to San Francisco. They got to win on the road. But selfish Richblkman definitely wants the Cowboys to come back to Tampa so I can be front and center once again.
I love it. Hey,
I mean, look, as soon as they get to the playoffs, I mean, that's what it is, man. That's
exactly
what it is.
Right. I totally agree, man. But another great show, man. Silver and Blue Huddle, man. Expert Corner, so amazing. Hopefully we have a different outcome. Hopefully we can come up here next week and be in way better moods and talk really, really great things about our Dallas Cowboys and how they dominated the Detroit Lions and how they're going to take that momentum and go into week 17. They're going to go and dominate the freaking Commanders, and then they're going to go in the playoffs and win, and we're going to be in the Super Bowl. So hopefully we're setting this up right now. We're going to speak this into existence. This is how the show is going to go over the next couple of weeks. We're going to be happy, joy for our Dallas Cowboys over the next couple of weeks. And then we're going to be in the Super Bowl, and then, you know, we're going to do some things. I tell you what, the Dallas Cowboys win if they get to the Super Bowl, look, I'm just going to leave it at that until we get to the Super Bowl, okay? Because it's going to get real crazy on this show. But, you know, another
Rich
week
had to
down.
catch his breath for a second. He said, hold on, wait.
Yeah, exactly. Another week down, man. Silver and Blue Huddle, man. We really appreciate you guys tuning into the show every week. Remember, you can definitely catch us on all your streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play. Drop a comment and drop some comments into the comment section. Ask us a question. We'll answer it live here on the next podcast. If you have a question, drop it in there. We'll answer it. We don't care what type of question it is. Just drop it. So we'll holler at you guys next week. We'll be in better moods. Go Cowboys, Silver and Blue. We out. Peace out.